$4 billion have been stolen from DeFi in the last 30 days. In the meanwhile, RWA tokenization have crossed over $35 billion on chain. Boringly, compliance and in the institutional way. One of those things is going to be the future of crypto. Which one you have to decide. Let's talk about the DeFi incident because it is just it just happened this week. How do you see this particular event, and does it give a bad mouth to, let's say, RWA or crypto in general?
The security incident, that should have never happened because all protocols or infra players need to be continuously getting updated. And now it's even harder because now a lot of people are relying on AI. So it's even easier to make a dance, like the loophole or the open door are simpler. So this is a wake-up call for the industry.
How do you see the retail side of the RWA? Do you think it is going to catch up with the institution side, or is institution going to dictate the RWA space?
Institutions are going to dictate the RW space. Retail is a consumer. It's not an investor by default.
Do you see stablecoins as a complementary industry for the RWA space, or do you think it could be a competition at some point?
Without stablecoins, there's no RWA tokenization vertical. If they don't thrive, then everything else dies. Stablecoins. It's the only thing that matters.
$4 billion have been stolen from DeFi in the last 30 days. In the meanwhile, RWA tokenization have crossed over $35 billion on chain. Quietly, boringly, compliance and in the institutional way. One of those things is going to be the future of crypto. Which one you have to decide. I'm with my guest, Edwin Mata. He is the CEO of Brikken. He has tokenized over $400 million in real world assets across 30 countries with over 100 institutional clients. And today we are not just going to be talking about RWA, we are going to have a broader picture of crypto and see what is working in this space and what needs to die.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me. Amazing to be here with you after we know each other in person. So now, I'm happy to explore RWAs, the current state of things. So we can talk about the DeFi, which is a bad thing for the ecosystem. But you know what they say, once something bad happens, then something better flourishes.
Let's talk about the DeFi incident because it is just it just happened this week. How do you see this particular event, and does it give a bad mouth to RWA or crypto in general? Because the people that are involved, they are somehow institutions as well.
It was a security thing, right? And it was one of the biggest breaches, which is layer 0. And that affected Cap DAO. And there was a lot of different wrappers of ETH being moved around different protocols. I mean, it shows innovation, right? Like there was like 3 layers of potential stakings in different ETHs. Then it ended up in Aave. Then the security incident, that should have never happened because all protocols or infra players need to be continuously getting updated. And now it's even harder because now a lot of people are relying on AI. So it's even easier to make a dance, like the loophole or the open door are simpler. So this is a wake-up call for the industry. Big players got hit, but then on the other side, we will always come back better and stronger.
So talking about the security part of things, does it concern you that, you mentioned that AI is progressing a lot faster than we can even catch up? So the infrastructure is similar, or the blockchain side of things are similar, and the product that you have built, it is somehow on similar infrastructure.
It is concerning, but AI plays both sides. While they use it, other people, the other side, us, the project should use it. This is the interesting thing of things. Obviously, here we use a lot of AI now too. So I think AI plays both sides. I mean, this is like a knife. You can cook beautiful food, or you can also kill. I mean, in the end, it's just a matter of who wraps it.
So talking about the institutions, you have been in the room with Franklin Templeton, you have been in the room with BlackRock, and the big players, right? So what is one thing, if I could ask you, what is one thing about crypto or blockchain that they still get it wrong?
I think it has now evolved into understanding what it is. It's a transaction of value 24/7. It's a ledger. So it was always kind of like guided towards finance. So when all these other experiments happen, that's why nothing stick. Like the metaverse, the NFTs, and I have nothing against them, but the true value of blockchain was always transactional value. So Once the big players started understanding, they saw the potential, and that's why they have been talking about it nonstop. Because for them, working in finance
Yeah.
in the ecosystem, the old version, for them is kind of like became rudimentary. Imagine, I don't know, giving someone like a rock and then you give them an iPhone. It's like mind blowing. It's like, whoa, this is completely different from what I thought. And
Yeah.
obviously, this is what's happening. And that's why now everybody's jumping in. Not because they like the word blockchain. For them, it's just technology. AI, like any other tech, it's just the evolution and efficiency.
So you talked about the institutions finally getting of what is actually happening. Do you think that the narrative has changed, or is this something that they finally saw that could be useful for them?
The narrative is important because also there was a lot of attacks in blockchain from different regulators, countries, politicians, important figures. You don't want to touch something that is badly seen because you have a reputation risk, right? So
Yeah.
narrative's important. The moment that is switched and it started opening up, it feel people confident and say, okay, fine, I can transact on blockchain without all this pressure. The big players are in, the banks are talking about it, stable coins, full monetary systems on chain. So by all means, that it has been validated that yes, of course, it can be done for certain thing, but the crucial things, the big things that matter are there.
Mm.
It's kind of like you can feel capital markets, financial markets on chain, and that's the most important thing. So that's where we are right now. I think we went from a bad narrative to a great one, from
Mm.
ignorance to education.
One of the segment that has caught up a lot, and one of the segment that is also have good limelight plate is stable coins, right? Do you see stable coins as a complementary industry for the RWA space, or do you think it could be a competition at some point? They both are representing different types of digital dollars, right?
Without stablecoins, there's no RWA tokenization vertical. If there's no US dollars, there's no economy. You need the common source of payments, of distribution for it to happen. So stablecoins, it's an absolute enabler and an absolute must for anything to be tokenized. If they don't thrive, then everything else dies.
Yeah.
Stablecoins. It's the
Yeah.
only thing that matters.
There are two sides of RWA, right? There is an institution side that you guys are working on. Then there is another side that is called a retail. We are seeing a huge influx in the institution side. What about the retail side? Do you think it is going to catch up with the institutions, or is institution going to dictate the RWA space?
Institutions are going to dictate the RW space, but they're going to allow retail to play just because of how it's built. But the institution is the one that actually is going to move the whole space because they have the liquidity and the assets. Retail, we don't have the same amount as them. You cannot depend on retail to say like the adoption happened. The assets and the full liquidity will come from the big players, the banks, the asset owners. But it's how the economy is built. Retail is a consumer. It's not an
Yeah.
investor by default.
What about the illiquid part of things? I was just going through different reports about the retail side. There are several products, but majority of them they are down by at least 80-90%. How do you see this?
Market cleans. It's cycle. People don't like to talk about cycles. Crypto volatility is higher. It was too simple to issue any kind of asset. It is good that this happened
Yeah.
because there were too many people playing their cards too well, so
Yeah.
scamming and sniping. Right now, I think it solidifies the space.
I also tend to think that people in the crypto space, they tend to overcomplicate stuff. They will talk about all the big keywords that sounds flashy, but end of the day you are barely doing anything in the product.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, end of the day it has to do the work, and it doesn't really matter what exactly is happening behind the scenes. The
Nobody
problem
cares.
the
No,
consumers just have to
I think
know about.
blockchain was a bunch of like excitement on inventing new things that they just created new words
Yeah.
and they complicated everything. Just if you think about it like staking, it's a deposit. Why you
Yeah.
just don't put deposit? You
Yeah.
have to go and name it staking. If you go with Apple, call it Apple. It's
Yeah.
people know apples. Say like, okay, yeah, it's a digital apple. Fine, it's still an apple. They will complicate it so much. When in the end, an apple is an apple.
And I found that you mentioned developing economies have stronger use cases than Europe or US. How do you explain this?
Because it's a need. Like
Mm.
third world countries, I'm Mexican, and a lot of Mexicans go to the United States, and you they send the money downstairs. For that transaction, it used to be so costly. Western Union remittance payments, there was a lot of fees. You put on the blockchain, it's zero. Imagine you send it to your family 1,000 and only 850 arrive. I mean, the 150 radically can change in our countries. So blockchain is a need. Fees in Europe, if you send a bank transfer from here to another country that is in Europe, it can be zero. So
Mm.
blockchain is a better solution, but it doesn't solve something that is already not a problem.
What about the metaverses and the move to earns and play to earn?
No, no, no. Those things do the PlayStation, computer, Xbox. You don't
Yeah,
need, they don't work because they were promising some things.
yeah,
All gaming in blockchain, where did it go? It was not needed. Everything got push a token. The games, it was like, move here. And it's
yeah,
like, what game is that? It's boring. And
yeah.
people were just farming.
If you were going to start a new project, right, in cryptocurrency, what will be your next bet apart from the RWA space?
My next project won't be in crypto. It will
No.
be in TradFi. Some things will stay, some things will flourish, other people will die, and there's gonna be a convergence. My next
Mm.
one will be a TradFi because by default I'll most likely be using blockchain technology, but it
Mm.
won't be the starting point or the selling point.
Cool.
Hopefully.
Edwin, I think that is my time. It's a pleasure talking. I think it's a wrap from my side, and hopefully people were able to gain insights on RWA, on crypto in general, and see what exactly is working and what should be dying. So yeah, this is that is all from my end, and I'll see you on the next one. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Saga. Thanks to everyone.
Bye bye.